Hello and welcome again to Hessens County. I'm glad that you could join us again today for another TTRPG Talk Short. This video series takes a look at tabletop roleplay games and related materials in short form. In the next of our Zine Month shoutouts, we will be featuring a new creator with a new topic. Some of you who follow me on Twitter or have known me from other places know that I identify as neurodivergent. After reading through Adam Bell's My Brain is a Stick of Butter, I have started to seriously look at the possibilities of using TTRPGs in other games as a means of teaching folk about things like ADHD or neurodivergency in general. Soft Focuses by Legge is another one of these games. Rather than have you create a whole new person or character, the idea is that the players create, quote, an alternative version of themselves with ADHD. This person then goes through the events that the player themselves experienced in a real day and writes in a journal about how that person's day would have gone instead. To help facilitate this, the character sheet fits onto a bookmark so that you can keep track of your character while using a real journal, and contains all of the sorts of stats or like resource stats or coping mechanisms or other things that you might actually that kind of try to simulate a lot of the things that a neurodivergent person might experience. Just as an example, kind of going in the opposite direction, a non-neurodivergent person and myself might have gone to a party today and had a pretty fun time socializing with their friends. The real neurodivergent me probably would have gone to that same party, but showed up early because that's just the coping mechanism I use to make sure that I do show up and that the anxiety doesn't kick in. Two, I probably would have spent more time helping the host rather than socializing. Three, I probably will wake up the next morning feeling depressed because of the amount of social energy I had to expend keeping up a mask. Unless I was fortunate enough to go to a party where the primary focus of the party was doing some activity together, like playing a role-playing game, or where I ended up encountering a number of other people with similar neurodivergent tendencies like myself, or if the main topic of conversation was probably something I like have a fixation on, like you know political stuff, history, role playing games, uh, creative writing, things like that. Um, the first edition of Soft Focuses is actually already out there, and you can try it out now. Instead, however, Chris Legge is actually funding on Crowdfundr in order to raise enough money to release a second edition and hopefully a print run. This one has a lot more research behind it, integrating in common comorbidities or other things that can have an impact on living with ADHD, like, for example, autism, PTSD, anxiety, the sorts of biological or hormonal fluctuations, like those related to having a menstrual cycle, depression, like I mentioned earlier, and a number of others. It really looks like this could be a pretty promising game to allow others a glimpse into what it is like being a neurodivergent in a world that is pretty heavily focused on neuronormativity and what that can be like. If you think this game is right for you, or if you can think of someone else who you'd like to share it with, check out the links below for the Crowdfundr page and the first edition of the game. Please keep in mind there is also an ashcan, basically like a text-only beta, so you can even try out before you buy. Also, I just want to flag that if we hit a certain stretch goal, Chris will be releasing essentially an SRD or a document describing the engine that this game was built on, the empathetic engine, which would be really useful for potential other games on related topics. So definitely a good reason to hit that one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bells, and all of that other fun stuff if you do not wish to miss any of our future Zemo games that will be featured here throughout the rest of the month of February, and probably a couple in March too. And remember to rate those itch purchases.
If you would like to show your support for this channel or for the Hessens County blog, In the description down below, you will find links to the channel Coffee and also the Itch Store. Please feel free to take a look, and thank you for your support.